Okay, it is Monday, May 20th, and Oliver, well, we're not sure yet. Oliver had kind of a temperature for most of the weekend, so we are seeing if he will continue to have that temperature today, and it's around 8:10 right now, so I want to wait until 8:30, take his temperature again, and we'll see if he can go to daycare. If he can't, then we'll just hang out for today, and then maybe Mima will come over later, and we'll hang out. Okay? What do you think? But I did want to take the time. I did want to take the time while we're sitting here to record a video, which I haven't done in a while, just to kind of update on different things or talk about a certain topic. And I'm not really sure what I want to talk about. I know that one thing that has been on my mind is this idea of something I heard in an interview where someone with a lot of confidence was asked, how does he go about and do what he does with a lot of bravado and a lot of confidence? And his answer was that he mostly stuck to things that he was good at for his whole career and just continued to double down on his strengths. And I thought it was a really good answer. I thought it was a really honest answer. And when I think about my own career, it is actually the exact opposite, that I have done a lot of things that I'm not good at and have been in positions where I'm very uncomfortable because I have no idea what I'm doing. So I think about, when I was 14 and starting to do the takeout at Yips, and then later in the summer, started waiting tables. Like, didn't speak Chinese and just had to endure that for 9 months to a year until I got to a level where I was proficient enough to go in and do the orders, and just getting used to that level of discomfort for long periods of time and just not having any other say in the matter, just having to put up with it. I think about working in Los Angeles and working on a desk for the first time and just how nervous I was to be on the phone and learn all these new players and learn all this new vocabulary and this entire different business model that I knew nothing about. When I was working as a production coordinator on Aspen and having basically no set experience, yet getting on there and being the one who is coordinating between all the different departments and writing up the schedule. And that's extended to working with Dennis. Although I'll say with Dennis, I definitely felt like I had learned the ropes of everything I needed to know in order to go into that role. But working with Vermeet and learning the whole personal development, building online courses, didn't really know anything about that. And same thing with now working at Reforge and working in growth and working in technology. Don't know anything. I didn't know anything about being a product manager, but kind of being put into that role. And now I'm just trying to figure it out. So, like I said, I think my answer, where kind of my career success has come from, has been, instead of doing things that I'm confident in, doing things that I have no confidence in, yet having that grinding mentality where just because you are miserable and just because you aren't comfortable is not a reason to quit. It's just a reason to continue to push through. And I think having a good attitude about it, having the right mentality about it, gets you through it, and ultimately there are rewards to reap on the other side, and eventually you know that you will get through it, and that it will be worth it once you do get to the other side. And I think now that's kind of where a lot of my confidence comes from, knowing that I can endure, that I can grind, and eventually it just may take longer than I would like, and it may take longer than most people would take to learn a different skill. But I think a lot of people aren't as accustomed to being that uncomfortable for those periods of time, and I think that gives me a advantage in a lot of spaces. Just the mental toughness or the willingness to be uncomfortable for such long periods of time. I think that gives you the right perspective on things, especially when you're playing this long game where it's important to acquire these different skills and get good at a lot of different things. So slightly different track. It's kind of what's worked for me, and I think that hopefully it'll continue to lead to more success in the future. And kind of just wanted to share that mind state where it's not about just like doing you obviously want to focus on certain elements of your strengths. I think I've done that, but you don't need to just stick to things that you're good at. If you have the mindset where you're going to grind, you're going to get through things, and that going through the discomfort is going to make you better. Just dropped Oliver off to daycare. His temperature was normal, so decided to just take him to school and see what happens. And as I was dropping him off, I was thinking about two things actually. The first thing being something that Sandeep told me years ago, back when I was working at IWT. I say years ago, but it's like 2 years ago, not like 10. And he said that after he had kids is when he really learned patience. And he learned that there's so many things that you just can't control when it comes to kids, that you just are forced to learn patience. Otherwise, it'll drive you crazy. And even though it's only been 11 months with Oliver, like, I totally see what he means. For example, I could easily see how the old me would be upset that Amy has to go to work and Oliver's sick, and it really cuts into my work day. But just having gone through this and having spent a lot of time with Oliver and just observing how I feel and my emotions when these things happen, just understanding, like, what can you do? There's no reason in getting upset, because it's not like he's trying to get sick. It's not like he has any control over the situation. And if he has a fever, he has a fever. And Amy has to go to work. She's doing her best to. She's doing an amazing job. She's doing her best, and she wants to be there, but she can't. So, if I'm the only one here right now, then it's my job to just stay with him or have that cut into the workday. That's just what it is. And the other thing is, the second thing that I was thinking about, or that this made me think of, is that it's such a small thing in the grand scheme of things, and it could be so much worse. I think about people whose kids are really, really sick, like terminally ill, or kids who, God forbid, like, they get sick and they pass, or people whose babies have passed for whatever reason. I think about people who have had trouble conceiving and how difficult that can be. And so a fever, or not being as productive as I want to be, or as I feel like I need to be in my own mind, that's such a small thing in comparison, and it's nothing to get upset over. And it's juggling these two thoughts, and juggling the idea of whether you are content with staying at home. Like, it's a real difficult balance, because if I am truly honest with myself, then I cannot say that I get complete fulfillment by staying at home and watching Oliver all day. Like, that just doesn't do it for me. If I had a choice, I'd be able to hand him off, and I'd be able to hand off Oliver to, like, my mom, let's say, whenever he's sick, and she could watch him during the day, and I can focus on my work. That's just the truth. But I think understanding that and knowing that where I want to focus my attention is on work and on being productive and on building something, doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you a bad parent. You just have to be kind of self-aware that that's where your mind state is. But if you cannot, if that is not the current reality of the situation, then being able to accept that and then go with the flow and do your best to be productive and do your best to be a good parent at the same time. That's the kind of mindset you want to be in. And I think today was just a good, so far, it's only 9 o'clock. So far, that's been a good lesson in that. And I feel like, I feel good in applying that today. Decided yesterday that I really need to set a schedule with training and just stick to it. Been very loose with myself in terms of not training because of work getting in the way, or like feeling bad about it because I should be spending time with my family. But like just kind of realizing there's no excuses, and with my schedule and how flexible it can be. Even though I do work a lot, I can make it work throughout the day, especially if it's during the weekday. So trying to be more regimented and more disciplined about getting the training in. So trying to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then active rest like Saturday, Sunday, which is easier to do when I'm up and hanging out with the family. So trying to get good about that, and scheduled a trainer to come help me on at least 2 days a week, so that way I am accountable to someone else. And that's something that I decided right after seeing a bunch of friends and just kind of seeing like, look, none of us are beating father time, and if there's going to be a moment where I take the opportunity to get really serious about staying in shape, now's the time to do it. So schedule that trainer literally like 2 days later, and he'll be checking in, he'll be coming to my house to help me train 2 days a week. So I'm excited about that.